On today's Sunday Stupid, allegedly Dave says something stupid.
I know that the Earth is a flat, motionless plane.
Allegedly Dave says something stupid.
To think that this contraption made it to 238,000 miles away and landed on the moon is just ridiculous.
And allegedly Dave says something stupid.
Can somebody tell me how a zip holds back the vacuum of space?
So, facepalm protection at the ready. This is going to be stupid. Yes, how do, dearest viewer, and welcome back to my little corner of the YouTubies and another Thriller Decade edition of the Sunday Stupid. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the problem when you don't write a script. You know, you lose your way a bit. Oh, please subscribe as well. And don't forget to like, share and comment. That would be wonderful. Thank you to my amazing patrons, Sven Wellens, Bob Sadler and Alan L. Thank you so much. Now, I was struggling. Oh, before we get on to that, big news. I've had my barnet cut. Yes, Mrs. Jones graciously accepted my command that she cut my hair upon pain of death. And she did. So, she's done a bloody good job, actually. I'm quite pleased. So, if you want your hair cutting by Mrs. Jones, please send me the princely sum of £50 and I will send the bitch round. All right. I'm only joking. Love you, Mrs. Jones. I really do. Anyway, on with today's video. I was struggling to find a subject for today's video, and then what I decided to do was go through the channel tab of flat earthers. So I did, and I happened upon allegedly Dave. I presume, or I'm assuming, that he calls himself allegedly Dave because he doesn't actually believe that his parents called him Dave. Dave Murphy, or allegedly Dave, is an urine drinking ex-breatharianist. Yes, he believes that the body's waste product, i.e. urine, is actually good for you if you drink it. And he's also an ex-breatharian. Oh my God. Oh, if you don't know what breatharianism is, it is stupid, dumb people believing that you can get all the nutrients that your body needs just by eating fresh air. So, I'm going to give it a go. No, that one looks better, that bit. Yeah. Yum. I'm all full up now. I don't need any tea. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Right. I don't have any words. I don't have any words. Now, I call him an ex-breatharianist, obviously, because the guy's still alive. So, yeah, he's still alive. So that clearly didn't work out for him. Anyway, on with today's video, and this is a little documentary that Dave filmed. So, oven mitts out the ready, and stand by for an awful, awful lot of stupid.
The Earth is absolutely flat.
No, it's almost perfectly spherical, Dave. Dave, I've got evidence backing me up. I've got the entire scientific community backing me up. I've got amateur astronomers backing me up. What have you got to back you up, Dave? You've got a pathetic yoga instructor and a bunch of weirdos. Groovy music. I'm impressed.
My name's Dave. I'm known as allegedly Dave. I'm 56 years old, and I know that the Earth is a flat, motionless plane.
So why haven't you produced any evidence for this, Dave? I wonder why. Is it because you have none? All you've done in your videos that I've seen is bash the globe. This can't happen. That can't happen. We see too far. I think it's flat. It looks flat. It must be flat. No. That won't wash with me, Dave. I want some jolly good evidence.
That is, the model is...
Model.
That is a disc of water.
A disc of water, for goodness sake. Also known as a puddle.
With continents strung out around the North Pole in the centre, and it's bordered on the circumference with what we call Antarctica.
Oh, great. So, yes, these continents are spread out, surrounded by a mythical ice wall that absolutely nobody has seen, been to, or taken photographs of.
Yeah, it's literally the circumference of the Earth.
Well, allegedly, Dave, it sounds like you have much knowledge about this mythical space puddle. So, can we have some measurements, please? Can we know the diameter of this space puddle of yours? Can we know the radius of this space puddle of yours, please?
So, again, if you imagine the North Pole in the centre, all the continents kind of strung out around the North Pole, and round the edge is what we call Antarctica.
Absolute hogwash. And I suppose you're going to go on about the Antarctic Treaty now, are you?
Well, there's this thing called the Antarctica Treaty.
It's not the Antarctica Treaty, it's the Antarctic Treaty.
Which is a treaty by all the United Nations countries that have agreed that nobody is allowed to go there. You can go there.
Nobody is allowed to go there, but you can go there. I told you this was stupid.
On a package tour, and you'll go to the kind of outer islands, see some penguins, go and see a barbershop pole that's supposed to be the South Pole, which they'll tell you isn't the actual South Pole, and that's it.
Oh, Dave, Mr. Allegedly. A little bit of research won't kill you. It really won't, because I found out there's actually 3 South Poles. The geographic South Pole, the ceremonial South Pole, and the magnetic South Pole. When I delved into the magnetic South Pole, for instance, I found out that it's actually underwater near Australia and New Zealand. So there you go. A bit of research, Dave. A bit of research.
If you want to go any further, or you want to go unaccompanied, you'll get turned back by the military.
Oh, more incredulous bollocks from this idiot. Dear oh dear. Dave, if you want to explore Antarctica, you can, but you will need your country's permission, because should you get into any difficulties, for instance, stepping on a fox's glacier mint and breaking your leg, you're going to need rescuing, which will run into the hundreds of thousands of pounds to get you out of there. All right? So you can go there if you want.
Well, I used to be a computer programmer.
I dread to think.
And I was so into science that I would listen to science lectures, while I was working. So I did a lot of research on Einstein's theory of relativity. I was listening to Richard Feynman lectures. I was into science.
So how hard was that whack on the head that you obviously received that turned you into the science-denying moron that you are today?
I don't know where my baby is.
Lisa, I'm busy. Button it.
I was just a normal bloke.
Dave, you think the earth is flat, you drink your own piss, and you used to eat fresh air. There's nothing normal about you.
Just doing what everyone else does, but then you start seeing things that are wrong.
Finally, Dave, you're starting to make some sense, because on my way to the shops to buy the Viz comic, I saw a dog with its front paws up against the wall like this, having a pee. And I went up to the owner and I said, wow, that's an amazing trick. How long's he been doing that? And the owner said, well, he's been doing that ever since a wall fell on him.
And rather than just ignoring them, thinking, oh, I must be stupid.
Don't get me started.
I thought I'd actually look into them and see what I can find out about them. And once you do that, that's the turning point. Once you actually look, stop and look, put aside your preconceptions, then you find stuff.
Like what? Shergar? Lord Lucan? Next week's winning lottery ticket? What?
There's the indoctrination right there. All these little kids looking at that, being told by their teacher they live here. This is the indoctrination.
No, Dave, it's fact, and I'm sorry you don't like it, but there you go. Duh, whatevs. I'll tell you what is indoctrination. Telling people that it's alright drinking your own piss. That's indoctrination. I'll tell you another example of indoctrination. Telling people that it's alright to eat fresh air, and though you'll get all the nutrients that you need just by taking a big gulp of polluted atmosphere. That's indoctrination.
Yeah, at an age where they can't critically interpret information. This will form the basis of their reality. This is how easy it is. It really is.
But Dave, when you say stupid things like the earth is flat, when you do stupid things like eating fresh air and drinking your own piss, people are not going to take you seriously, are they? When you say that the earth is flat, you've got to back it up with some evidence. But you don't. You never will. You never have. So button it.
Even when NASA puts their stuff out that looks like this, they forget that the clouds are supposed to move.
But Dave, how do you make clouds move on one single photograph?
In fact, you find in the clouds they show in their pictures.
Oh no, no. Don't say it. Please don't say it, Dave. Don't. Just don't. Please don't.
They use a clone tool to use the same picture of cloud and stamp it around the globe. There's even the word sex written into the clouds somewhere, which is a known psychological trick to get you to engage with something.
You said it, didn't you? The word sex is written in the clouds. No, Dave, no, stop it. And it's a psychological trick to get us doing what? Having sex? I wish it would work on Mrs. Jones.
Every time I fly, I always take the time to speak to the pilots. And half the pilots I've spoken to have seen the curvature. Half the pilots haven't seen the curvature.
Well, I suspect half those pilots that haven't seen curvature were probably taking the half of bliss. And those that have seen curvature were probably taking the half of bliss. Because if some idiot came up to me, if I was a pilot and some prat came up to me saying, well, I think the earth is flat. Have you ever seen the earth curve? I'd be taking the half of bliss.
According to mainstream science, nobody can see the curvature from a passenger jet.
I've looked at flight paths of things between South Africa and South America, and or Australia, and it's more so going over Antarctica.
Gonna let this video play out a little bit because Dave gets owned.
Which
no
on a
flights
globe,
over Antarctica.
well they do, there are transatlantic flights.
Oh.
Not many, but it depends on the range of the
None.
aircraft.
And really, we've been trying to find, there's none. Nothing is allowed to fly over the South Pole.
Okay, so that comes down to ETOPS ratings in terms of how far an aircraft can go from an airfield. Such as the longest one is 330 minutes, that's the A350 or something. Which pretty much puts a hole over the Antarctica because it's so far away from every other airfield.
Mm-hmm.
They can't go over that because if they have a problem, it's too far away for somewhere to land. It comes back down to the ratings. But they can go often very near it.
Well, they say that, well, it's too far to land in an emergency.
I will add this little bit though. Dave, you just agreed with him.
The moon landing is absolutely fake.
No, it isn't.
The supposed lunar lander. One good thing is that it's really accurate because there's no blast crater underneath the lander.
But Dave, there's no atmosphere on the moon. Why would there be a blast crater?
And there's no dust in the pads there. So, very accurate indeed.
But Dave, how many more times? There is no atmosphere on the moon. Plus, if you watch the moon landings, you will see a bit of dust kick up as the vehicle is landing.
But to think that this contraption made it to, 238,000 miles away and landed on the moon is just ridiculous.
In a way, Dave, you are correct. But in many ways, you are also incorrect. Yes, it did go to the moon, but it went to the moon in a Saturn V rocket. It didn't go there on its own. You Burke.
Can somebody tell me how a zip holds back the vacuum of space?
It doesn't. In the moon landing astronaut suits, right, in particular, there's about 11 different layers. Dave. It's stupid. It's stupid. It burns so hot.
I don't know. How can you have zips in a spacesuit?
I've just told you. Please listen, Dave. Please listen.
Because inside there's another rubberized suit that forms the secure lining. This is just protective.
Yeah.
Then you got another rubber one on the inside that's perfectly sealed.
How does rubber actually protect against radiation?
Oh, Dave, he's just told you, and I just told you, there's about 11 different friggin' layers. Dave, just please stop being stupid.
This outer suit does it. The inner
Oh,
suit,
really?
The inner
This
suit,
fabric suit?
Yeah, but this is a suit behind a suit behind a suit. There's multiple layers. Each one has a different job. This one is for cooling.
Do you know how much shielding you need for the radiation outside the Earth's atmosphere?
I'm willing to bet, Mr. Dave, that what you know about radiation can be written on the back of a stamp that's been cut in half. Here, in my mortal hands, I have something that can block alpha particles. Here it is. It's called a piece of paper, and as you can see, I've drawn a little rocket. See? With its boosters there, see? Its boosters, and its main thingy, and its capsule on the top with its doors. Amazing stuff.
I don't know what it is, but
It's it's like lead. You need lead shielding.
Oh, for the love of... There's too much stupid. Even I can't handle it.
Pretty much everything you see around you is not what it appears to be.
So that big woody thing covered in green leafy things isn't a tree?
It's just a story you were given, and if you believe it, well, you can live your whole life believing that story.
But it's not a story, it's a tree.
But there's other things going on. But if you don't know about them, then you'll end up reacting to things that happen in this world.
What utter gibberish. Jeez. Dave, it is absolutely no wonder and absolutely no surprise to me that you don't get taken seriously outside of your little cult.
Think for yourselves, rather than accept all this stuff that you've been taught. Think for yourselves.
Why don't you take your own advice, Mr. Dave? So that's Dave all done, dusted and debunked. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you to my amazing patrons. And don't forget to join me on the next one, which will be this Wednesday, 8 PM, for a Wacky Wednesday video.